Okay, we're looking at lesson 4, surface area of triangular prisms today. And yet again, we get to use our handy dandy calculator. So we just need to see what we need to do first. A triangular prism, when we find the surface area of it, is the sum of the areas of the 2 triangular bases and the 3 rectangular faces. So you have a rectangle on the bottom and then 2 rectangles on the side, if you think of it like a simple tent. When we cut it apart, you can see the 3 rectangles and the 2 triangles. So when we're finding the surface area of a triangular prism, they'll give you the height right here. And they'll also give you the base of the triangle. So you're going to find the area of the triangle. Remember the formula for that is A equals base times height divided by 2. And then you're going to find the area of the 3 rectangles. The 2 rectangles are on the side. Sometimes are the same, sometimes they're different. Sometimes all 3 of the rectangles are different. So when we're doing rectangles, we do length times width. So this one is 1. This is 2 because this line's 2. This one's also 1 and 2, and so is this one. So in this case, all 3 of these rectangles are 1 by 2. So you're going to take 1 times 2 and get 2. And you can either, as I showed down here, they added 2 3 times, or you could have just gone ahead and multiplied it by 3 and got 6. The reason they did 0.4 plus 0.4 is because there are 2 triangles and not just 1. So let's look at this first one. Remember, you get to use a calculator, so it's really not that terrible. I'm going to start with the triangle, so it's A equals base times height divided by 2. The base of the triangle is 6. The height is 5.2, so 6 times 5.2 divided by 2. I'm going to type that in my calculator, 6 times 5.2 divided by 2. We get 15.6. And now there's 2 triangles, so we need to do 15.6 times 2. And both triangles are 31.2. Now we need to look at the rectangles, and I'm going to look at this rectangle that's facing this way first. So rectangle is A equals length times width. We have 7 by 6, so 7 times 6 equals 42. And let's see the bottom one. We still have 7 times 6, and this one's 7 times 6. So the great thing about this one, all of them are the same, so we're going to do 42 times 3. Get 126. So 126 is the area of all the rectangles. 31.2 is the area of all the triangles, and then we're going to add them together. So I have 126 plus 31.2, and my answer is 157.2, and then centimeters squared. Let's look at the next one. We're going to start with the triangle, so A equals base times height divided by 2. The base is 5, the height is 4.3. So 5 times 4.3 divided by 2. And that gives us 10.75. But there are 2 triangles, so I'm going to multiply that by 2. And I get 21.5. So I'm going to circle that, so remember I've added at the end. So those my triangles are done. Now let's look at our rectangles. So A equals length times width. My length on each of them are 4, and so is, or not 4, it's 14. And my width is 5. So in all of them, it's going to be 14 times 5. So 14 times 5 equals 70. There are 3 of them that way, so we're going to multiply by 3. So 70 times 3 is 210. So the area of all of the rectangles is 210. The area of the triangles are 21.5. So we're going to take 210 plus 21.5. And we get 231.5 meters squared. So it's important that you take good notes so when you look back at this. Okay, so you can also find the surface area of any triangular prism by adding the areas of the sides of the prism using a drawing. That just means you're going to separate the drawing and then add all the areas together. So in this case, they took this and they just cut the pieces and laid them flat so you could easily find it. And if you notice on this one, these rectangles are all different. So you'd have to do the rectangles 3 times. So let's take a look at the one right here. I'm going to start with my triangles again because my triangles are actually the easy ones because they always have to be the same. So I have 4, and this is 5.7. So 4 times 5.7 divided by 2. And we get 11.4. And there's 2 of them, so we're going to multiply by 2. And we get 22.8. So the area of our triangles is 22.8. Now we need to look at the rectangles. I'm going to do the bottom one first. So we have area equals length times width. My bottom one right here, we have 4 by 8.6. I'm going to multiply them all in because I want to find them all. The one that's standing up right here, we have 5.7 by 8.6. And then my diagonal one over here, we have 8.6. And then a 7. And then we're going to use our handy dandy calculator instead of solving them all out. So I have 4 times 8.6 is 34.4. 5.7 times 8.6 is 49.02. And 8.6 times 7 is 60.2. So now I'm going to add all 4 of these numbers together. So I have 60.2 plus 49.02 plus 34.4 plus 22.8. And I get 166.42 meters squared because surface area is squared. Okay, and then our last one. It looks like all of these rectangles are going to be different too. But we're going to start with our triangles because both the triangles will be the same. So base is 5, height is 2. So 5 times 2 divided by 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. We're going to multiply by 2. And the surface area of both triangles is 10. Then we're going to look at each rectangle. So area equals length times width. The bottom rectangle, I have 4 times 5, which is 20. The diagonal one, I have 5.4 times 4. That's 21.6. And the guy standing up over here, I have 4 by 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. So I'm going to add the 10 and then these 3 rectangles together. So I have 21.6. Plus 8 plus 20 plus 10. And I'll get 59.6 feet squared. I suggest, because this is more complex, that you think about watching some other videos to practice and going into your book and doing some practice questions. If you need to rewatch this video, that would be a great idea. And remember, you get to use a calculator, so decimals are not terrible things.